Hello, welcome to a new video. In this occasion, we will talk about the oral approach and situational language teaching. To start, let's talk about the background of this approach. The origins of the oral approach began with the work of British applied linguists in the 1920s and 1930s. Two of the leaders of this movement were Harold Palmer and A.S. Harmby. Vocabulary was seen as an essential component for language proficiency. Reading skills was believed to be the goal of foreign language study in some countries. Linguists believed that a knowledge of a wide number of words would greatly assist in reading a foreign language. They even created a book in which they provided around 2,000 words that were frequently used in reading texts. Their goal was to choose vocabulary with a scientific and rational basis and thus to establish principles of syllabus design in language teaching. With grammar, something similar occurred. Linguists viewed grammar as the underlying sentence patterns of the spoken language. They classified the major grammatical structures of English language into sentence patterns called substitution tables, which would be used to help internalize the rules of English sentence structure. The main characteristics of the approach at that time were as follows. Language teaching begins with the spoken language. Material is taught orally before it is presented in written form. The target language is the language of the classroom. New language points are introduced and practiced situationally. Vocabulary selection procedures are followed to ensure that an essential general service vocabulary is covered. Items of grammar are graded following the principle that simple forms should be taught before complex ones. Reading and writing are introduced once enough lexical and grammatical basis is established. Since the 1950s, the terms structural situational approach or situational language teaching came into common usage, and this included both structural, situational, and oral approaches. In the situational language teaching, speech is regarded as the basis of language. Students are taught the basic grammatical structures of English, word order, structure of words, inflections, and content words. Real-life kind of situations should be contextualized in the classroom so students can use the vocabulary or grammatical structures they learn in situations as similar as real life as possible while they're at school. The inductive approach is applied to the teaching of grammar. The objectives of the situational language teaching are to teach a practical command of the four basic skills of language through structure, the accuracy in both pronunciation and grammar, the ability to respond quickly and accurately in speech situations, the automatic control of basic structures and sentence patterns, which will be taught through speech work. Situational language teaching uses a structural syllabus and a word list, which is a list of the basic structures and sentence patterns of English, arranged according to their order of presentation. Here we have an example of a word list. In a 3-class lesson plan, the word list will be: for the first lesson, the sentence patterns are this is and that is, and the vocabulary to be used is book, pencil, ruler, and desk. For the second lesson, the patterns are these are and those are, and the vocabulary is chair, picture, door, and window. And finally, for the third lesson, the patterns are is this, yes it is, and is that, yes it is. And the vocabulary is watch, box, pen, and blackboard. Students must be taught through situations. A situation is the use of concrete objects, pictures, and realia, which together with actions and gestures can be used to demonstrate the meaning of new language items. In the initial stages of learning, the learner is only required to listen and repeat what the teacher says and to respond to questions and commands. Later, more active participation is encouraged. In the presentation stage of the lesson, the teacher serves as a model, setting up the situation. The teacher is required to be a skillful manipulator, using questions, commands, and other cues to elicit correct sentences from the learners. So summing up, the responsibilities of the teacher are timing, oral practice to support the textbook structures, revision, adjustment to special needs of individuals, testing, and developing language activities other than those in the textbook. Procedures of the situational language teaching at any level aim to move from control to freer practice of structures and from oral use of sentence patterns to their automatic use in speech, reading, and writing. A simple example of a lesson plan using situational language teaching is: here we have an example of a lesson plan using a situational language teaching approach. Stage 1. The teacher displays on the projector an image of a woman walking. Then she starts walking around the classroom, and as she does, she repeats the phrase "she is walking" once and again, sometimes at a normal pace and sometimes slowly. She repeats it around 5 or 6 times. Stage 2. After that, she asks students to repeat after her. She says the phrase again, and then she waits for students to repeat it. Stage 3. After 5 times of doing the same repetition exercise, the teacher starts asking randomly some students to repeat the phrase. She says the phrase and then waits for the students to repeat it. Stage 4. The teacher asks some questions like, "What is she doing?" and students should answer, "Walking." The teacher can use mimics and body language to help students to answer the questions. Then she can ask, "Who is walking?" and students should answer, "She." Stage 5. After that, the teacher will say, "Let's change now the subject. Lucy, can you give me a pronoun, please?" The student who is asked should give her a pronoun. "Okay, he. Who can tell me how the sentence will be, but not with he?" One student should answer, "He is walking." Then the teacher can continue drilling. Perfect. Now, Maria, give me a verb that is not walk. Run. Okay, how will the sentence be with run? He is running, and so on. Stage 6. The teacher will display now an image in the projector. She will ask one student, for example, "What is she doing?" depending on the image that is being shown. When the student answers with the correct sentence, the teacher will change the image and will ask the student who answered to ask his or her classmate behind what the person in the new image is doing. The student who is asked the question should answer it and then ask the same question to the student behind, and so on. Stage 7. When a big number of students have already participated, the teacher will stop the activity and will write on the board the sentence pattern. She will ask students to write on their notebooks one sentence using the sentence pattern, and one by one she will ask them to say their sentences aloud. Reaching this point, students already repeated the model sentence and replaced some of its parts to create a new sentence. In this case, I will do it as if we were in a video call. That's why I will be telling them who to ask the question. Okay guys, so here we have this image now. We can see a girl here, right? Arely, what is she doing? Yes, she's sleeping, correct. Now, please ask Esme to tell you what is this boy in the next image doing. Remember how I asked you. You don't remember the question? Okay, listen to it one more time. What is he doing? Repeat it, please. What is he doing? Okay, perfect. Go ahead and ask Esme. Okay, Esme, yes, you're right. Now, please, you have to ask Alan what these girls are doing in this image. Do you remember the question? Okay, then ask Alan. Are you sure that it is like that? Look, listen to me and repeat it, okay? What are they doing? Repeat it, please. Exactly. What are they doing? Now, please ask Alan. Perfect. Last one, Alan. Ask Mariela what is this person doing? Okay, perfect. Yes, it is correct. Mariela, please answer it. Yes, perfect. Well done, all of you. So, when finishing this activity, students will be asked to go on with stage 7, which will be writing a sentence and saying it out loud. This stage or this sample activity that I just presented is very useful for correction because I'm asking students to use the sentence pattern, and I can indicate with language, with body language, if they are saying it correctly, if they are not, and um, I can help them correct what they're doing wrong. I can help them in the moment and teach them or elicit them to do it correctly. Okay, so to finish this video, it only remains to say that textbooks based on situational language teaching continue to be widely used in many parts of the world. So if you like this video, please subscribe so you can continue watching some videos and content that I upload to this channel. Thank you, bye!